Hello, my name is Lee and welcome to this video tutorial. Today, we're going to build upon our knowledge of the Unreal Blueprint system. More specifically, we're going to talk about what's known as a logical operator. If you have studied computer science, you may also know this under the title of logic gates. So, before we talk about what exactly a logical operator is, we need to create a blueprint. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to put a link in the video or in the description that's going to allow you to see an earlier video where we talk about how to create blueprints. Now, I've already done that, so I'm going to open up the blueprint that I've already created. And in here, you can see I've already done some setup. I have the event begin play, which was created when this blueprint was created. And I've created two values here, two variables, one called true and one called false. The value that is called true has the value set here on the right-hand side to be true. So here are our logical operators. To create a logical operator, we simply right-click within the graph, and we can type in one of the names of these logical operators, for example, OR, and you can see we have this OR Boolean. We can do AND get an AND Boolean. So this is how we create these 6 nodes. Now let's talk about what each one of these nodes are and how they work, and then we'll talk about some practical examples, or I'll give you a practical example of what I'm talking about. So, first of all, just to go back a little bit, a logical operator is a way to compare two different values. Then, depending on what the output is, means that we can execute a certain set of code. Imagine it like this. You want to set up some rules. You want to say, for example, if A is true and B is false, then execute this code. But if A or B are both false, then execute a separate set of code. That's basically what this is. We have 6 key ones here for us to look at in our blueprint. Those are OR, AND, NOT, XOR, NOR, and NAND. The first one, OR, says that if either value A or value B is true, then we return the output of that is true. If both of them are false, then we return a value of false. The second one, AND, says that condition A and condition B both have to be true. If condition A and condition B are both false, then we return a value of false. A NOT takes the initial condition. For example, if we have the initial condition to be set to true, it will then flip it to be a false. If the initial condition that comes in here is false, it will get flipped to true. Then below that we have a NAND. Now a NAND is very similar to AND, in which it looks to see if value A or condition A and condition B are the same. If they are, then additionally a NOT is added to the end, which means that if condition A and condition B are both true, then the value we get is false. If the value that we get in A and B are both false, then we return a value of true. The NOR is, again, like the OR, where it checks to see if either condition A or condition B is true. However, in this case, it will then flip it. So if condition A is true and condition B is false, we return a value of true, and then that is flipped to be false. If condition A and condition B are both false, then we return a value of true. Finally, the XOR is a little different to the rest of them. The X stands for extended, and what this means is that just like the OR, we look to check to see if A or B is true, and if A is true and B is true in this case, we return a value of true. However, if both the values are the same, then we return a value of false. So that's a little bit about what each one of these does. So let's look at how we can use this. Let's say we have our OR. I'm going to press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to create an OR, or a copy of the OR. I'm going to move this up. And from the event begin play, I'm going to type branch. Now, a branch allows us to execute either condition A or condition B, whether or not it is true, or false. And the condition for that to be true or false can be our logical operator here. So let's plug in our logical operator. And what do we want to do? Well, let's do something simple like a print. So we're going to say print string, and we're going to say this one is true. I'm going to extend the node here, and for the duration, I'm going to keep this on the screen for about 10 seconds. And then I'm going to collapse this. I'm going to press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to make a copy and call this false. I'm going to plug the true into true and the false into false. Now we have our condition. And what is our condition? Well, let's take our variable. We have our true variable. I'm going to choose get this, and I'm going to get our false variable, just like so. So remember, a OR says that if either A or B, or condition A or condition B, is true, then we return a value of true. Remember, this variable true here is set to be true. So if we were to simply put these into the inputs, we were to save this, then we were to place this into the world and play our game, you can see that in the top left-hand corner, we have a value that says true. The reason for that is because condition A is true. However, if we were to plug false into both of these, you'll see that we will return a value of false. Let's delete this and look at another one. How about we look at the AND? This one, as I said, wants to check to see if both conditions are true. So if I were to connect both a true and false value here and put this into the condition, and then we were to check this in game, you'll notice that we get a false value. The reason for that is because one value is true and one is false. However, if I were to plug true into both of these conditions and were to compile and press play, you can see we return a value of true. Now, finally, let's look at one more. I'm not going to go through each one of these as I've explained as to what each one of them does. I would encourage you to go ahead and really explore what each one of these nodes does. But let's look at the NOR. So I'm going to make a copy and paste this. So remember, a NOR means that it's going to look to see if either A or B is true. So only one of them has to be true. And then it's going to flip the value to the opposite. So, for example, if this is true and this is false, first of all, we do an OR that says, is value A or B true? It knows that value A is true, so it says it's true. And then it converts that into a NOT, which will simply convert the value or swap the value to the opposite. So if we were to play this, we'll get a value of false. Oops, it looks like we've got a value of true. There we go. Let's put this into the correct condition and play it. There we go. So now you see we have a value of false. And just to demonstrate what the NOT does, if I copy this and paste it and plug the NOT, plug this true into the NOT and plug this into the condition, the true will be flipped to false, and the false will be changed to true. Okay, great. So that is what these logical operators do. Now, in this example, we used Booleans to simply check to see if something is true or false, but they can actually be used for many different things. You can use integers or float values to see if, for example, the player's health is higher or lower than a certain amount. And then if it's higher than a certain amount, then perhaps we can add more health, or we can add maybe when you collect health, maybe it checks to see if what the value is, and if it's over a certain amount, maybe it will add some more health. If it's maybe too high, maybe it adds to the shield. So okay, so we've looked at what the logical operators do here. In our example, we've simply compared booleans, but in actuality, we can compare floats or integers or really any number of things. For example, if we wanted to check the player's health, how much health does the player have? If the player has less than, let's say, 50%, we can say we want to add more health to the player after a certain duration of time. So there are many different applications for using logical operators. I hope that this sort of opens your mind as to what they do. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you for watching, and bye-bye for now.